Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Today is July 1st. We're just over the halfway point of the season, which means some teams that have been struggling need to turn it on right now. Let's do it. Hello, everybody. My name is Steven. This is the middle of the order. How are we doing today, ladies and gentlemen? Hopefully all is well with you all. Thank you so much for clicking on to the episode here today. The start of July. Happy Canada Day to all of the Canadians out there. As we dive into another week of baseball here, and it's a pretty big month. The month of July is always the big one. You got the All-Star game and the break there, and that leads you to the trade deadline, which is really, the dog days of summer are pretty much fast approaching on us, and after that deadline, we'll have a really good look at the teams that are in the season and the teams that are, out of the season. I think it's safe to say that we already know a couple of those teams that might be missing the mark this year, but there are some that, hey, you might be a few games under 500. You might be, 6, 7, 8 games even out of a wild card spot. But the second half of the season, if things start going right, there is still a lot of time where teams can make moves. It's not over till it's over. That's one thing you should always know if you are a fan of baseball. But, time is ticking, so you gotta start moving fast. We'll be diving into some of that a little bit later on. But for now, thank you so much for being here. And let's dive into our series recap. Let's lead it off with the Padres and the Red Sox. The Padres are on a hot streak right now. They beat Boston 9-2, then beat them 11-1 in Game 2. Manny Machado going back to his Baltimore ways in the AL East. 2 homers for him. But then the last game, the Red Sox fight back, avoid the sweep, beat the Padres 4-1, and end their 5-game winning streak. Nationals and Rays, a bit of a sandwich here. Rays take the first game, win it 3-1. Nationals bounce back, win it 8-1, and then the Rays shut out the Nats in the third game. They take 2 of 3 in the series. Rays win that one 5-0. Then we have an ALDS rematch of last year, Rangers and the Oilers in Baltimore. And speaking of Baltimore, they were on a killer streak here in this series. They take the first 3 games of this 4-game set, win it 11-2, 2-1, and 6-5, and they're looking for a 4-game sweep in Sunday Night Baseball, but get stopped by the Rangers and Wyatt Langford as the Rangers end their 7-game losing streak, get the win to salvage that series, avoid the 4-game sweep, and beat them big time 11-2. Yankees and Blue Jays, what a series this was. A lot of high-scoring games here, starting it off a 4-game set. Blue Jays take the first game 9-2. Springer had 2 3-run home runs in the first 2 innings of this game, totaled for 6 RBIs. Yankees, they bounced back in game 2. They were up, and then in the 9th, they added 7 more runs. They won at 16-5. Game 3, it's the Blue Jays' turn again. Vladdy goes 3 for 6, a home run and 6 RBIs, beat the Yankees 9-3, and then they bounce back on that last game. Yankees win it 8-1. The 2 teams split the 4-game set in Toronto. A very fun series indeed. Rockies and White Sox. The White Sox jump on Colorado in the first two games, win it 5-3 and then 11-3. But then in the last game, the Rockies win it 5-4 in 14 innings. The second 14-inning game we've had here in 2024. Rockies avoid the sweep there. Guardians and Royals for a 4-game series. This was a very important series for the Royals, and they started it off well. They beat the Guardians 2-1 in Game 1. Then they beat them 10-3 in Game 2. Guardians bounce back, get a win to make it 7-2, but the Royals kind of stand on business in this series. Seth Lugo shoves in the last game. Royals win at 6-2 and take 3 of 4 from the Guardians. That is big for Kansas City, and it could be big for the Twins as well as they take on the Mariners on the road here. Seattle gets the first game on a walk-off fielder's choice from Cal Raleigh to beat the Twins 3-2, but then Minnesota, they do what they need to do and win the last 2 games of the series, beat the Mariners 5-1 and then 5-3, so they help out with the Royals in a way. They help themselves as the Royals help them is what I mean to say there. Tigers and Angels we move on to now, and the Angels were looking very strong in this series against Detroit. Opened it up with a shutout, 5-0 there. They jump into the second game, win it 5-2. Then in the third game, it's Kevin Pillar, Superman himself. He walks it off for the Angels. That's 3 straight. They make it 6-5. And then the last game, Tigers were up 7-1 entering the ninth. Angels score 5 and come up short. Almost came all the way back for a second walk-off on back-to-back nights and the 4-game sweep. Instead, Tigers hold on, win it 7-6, salvage the 4-game set. Angels, though, big series for them against Detroit. Astros and Mets, 2 teams that have been hotter than ever. First game would go the Mets' way as they beat them 7-2, and that would end the Astros' 7-game winning streak. But it would not. They would start a new one right away. The Astros beat the Mets 9-6, and then in extra score 5 runs in the 11th to beat them 10-5. It's the first time the Mets have lost a series in the Groomis era. The Astros take 2 of 3 against New York. Marlins and Phillies for 4. It would start with the Marlins beating the Phillies 7-4 as they score 4 runs in the 7th to take the lead. Phillies bounce back, shut out the Marlins, get a 2-0 win there. Marlins, though, they would answer, make it 3-2 in that third game. And to round off the 4-game set, Phillies answer. They come back in that game to beat Miami 7-6. They split the 4-game set 2 each. Pirates and Braves. Braves get the first 2 games, beating the Pirates 6-1 and then 2-1 on an Adam Duvall walk-off base hit there. Pirates, though, with Paul Skeens on the mound, they would avoid the sweep. They beat the Braves 4-2 in that game. I think that's actually incorrect. I think Paul Skeens pitched on Saturday, but anywho, Reds and Cardinals, a 4-game set that ends up getting split 2 each. Another one where it goes Reds, Cardinals, Reds, Cardinals. Reds take the first game 11-4 and the third game 9-4, while the Cardinals win their games 1-0 and 2-0. So the Cardinals shut out the Reds twice and score low, while the Reds score 20 runs. They outscore them 20-8 in the series. Very interesting stuff there. Split the 4-game set there. Cubs and Brewers. This is also for the NL Central battle here. Brewers get the first game 4-2. Cubs answer back 5-3. And for the rubber match, it felt the Brewers' way as they beat the Cubs 7-1 and take 2 of 3 in the series there. Dodgers and Giants. It's the Giants that start the series hot. Brett Wisely with a 2-run walk-off home run as the Giants get the first game 5-3. Then we had a close game 2 here up until the 11th inning. In extras we go. The Dodgers score 7 runs in the inning to double the lead, or to create a lead and then double it. Dodgers win that game 14-7. 7-11, that's crazy. But for the match, it was the Giants that take advantage of the Sunday game, beat the Dodgers 10-4 and take 2 of 3 in this series. Last but not least, the A's and the Diamondbacks. Oakland gets the first game 9-4 by an upset. And then the D-backs answer back for games 2 and 3, beat them 3-0 and then 5-1 with a healthy Zach Gallen start. That is your series recap. Now we look on to the game of the weekend here. We're heading to Baltimore, Texas, and the O's. What a fun series this was, and a good game this third game was. I believe it was the third game. Corey Seager gets the party started. So yeah, it would have been the third game, or the third game on the Saturday. Because Seager was still in this one. He hits the home run in the first to get the party started. His 15th of the year. Solo shot makes it 1-0 Texas. Bottom second, there's Anthony Santander. Home run number 22. He's been on an absolute tear this year. That ties the game. Then how about Derek Hill for Texas in the top of the fifth? Yes, the top of the fifth. The center fielder hits home run number 1 on the year. That gets Texas back in the driver's seat. A little over the place right now. Hang on here. Bottom of the fifth. Down 1. Boston. Oh my God, I should get some sleep here. Heston Kjerstad hits a grand slam, his second home run of the season. He just got called up recently, and he's already making a huge impact. Turns that 2-1 deficit into a 5-2 lead for Baltimore. Then top 6, it's Nathaniel Lau that hits a home run, his 4th of the year. A 2-run shot brings Texas back within 1. Anthony Santander, he hits a ground rule double in the bottom of the 7th to add 1 for Baltimore, and that proved important because in the top of the 8th, Adolis Garcia, home run number 16 on the year. It's a solo shot, makes it back to a 1-run game, but that's all Texas can muster up. Baltimore hangs on and beats Texas 6-5, their 7th straight loss, and that's a big difference between Baltimore and the Rangers. That was your game of the weekend. Alrighty, now let's sprint through some of the baseball news from this weekend here. Starting off with the Brewers, they've been on a bit of a Grand Slam streak. They have hit 5 Grand Slams in the span of 8 games. They're only the second team in MLB history to do so. The first were the Padres back in COVID year in 2020. That's how they got the name Slam Diego that year. And it's been sticking ever since, really. It all started last Saturday on the 22nd. Bryce Terang hit the first Grand Slam of the 5, and from there they hit it on every other day. Monday it was Rhys Hoskins, then Wednesday it was Jake Bowers, Friday it was Jackson Chourio, and then Sunday was Bryce Terang again. So Bryce Terang started this streak, and as of now, he's the one who ends the streak. Can they get a 6th Grand Slam later today? Just kidding. They don't play today. Barely anybody plays today, but potentially this series or tomorrow. You love to see it when teams are hot right now. Brewers lead that NL Central. They are good and are only getting better, so keep an eye out for that. As we look now to what is going to be an all-star game, an all-star home run derby. New stuff, and forgot that this is kind of the period now where in these next 2 weeks we get to see who else will be all-stars and who's going to be competing in this home run derby. Yesterday, during Sunday Night Baseball, we found out that Gunnar Henderson is the first person we have been confirmed will be playing in said home run derby. This is really cool. I think this is a great choice of someone to invite a young kid, lots of power on a great team. It checks off all of the boxes. So I cannot wait to watch Gunnar in Texas this year. Speaking, though, of the Home Run Derby, they also announced some new rules and the new Home Run Derby format, I guess you could say, on how it's going to work. So, unlike previous years, they just kind of had everything, in a tournament style, 1 versus 8 and so off and so off. This year, that's going to be changing. So the first round, all 8 hitters will go. They'll take their turn, and then the top 4 will advance. If there is a tie, it will be broken by the longest home run. So if you're 15-15, there's no swing off, there's no anything like that yet. It is just off of who hits the furthest. So power obviously will matter. So after the first 8 go, top 4 advance. From there, they turn it into a bracket style based on how many home runs were hit in that first round. So the 1 would play the 4, and the 2 would play the 3. That would be your swing off and your tiebreakers if necessary, but then it goes into the finals for the top 2 to face off. I don't know exactly what this means, but I'm going to read off what I have here, and then I guess we'll have to wait the 2 weeks until the Monday and see exactly how it's going to work. But the first round is going to be the first round and the semifinals. It's a 3-minute round with 40 pitches. So I'm not sure exactly how that's going to work. Whether you either get only 3 minutes, or once you hit the 40 pitches, that's it. So it's like you could be less than 3 minutes. I'm not 100% sure. You still have your 1 timeout. They have 3 bonus outs. So every swing's a home run or an out. I'm not exactly sure how the bonus swings will work, or the bonus outs. And then they says here that in a bonus period, if you hit a 425-foot home run, you'll have a 4th bonus out. So the bonus outs, I'm not exactly sure. I'm guessing it's going to work something where it's like if you hit the 2 440-foot home runs, you get the additional 30 seconds, but I'm not 100% sure. The finals will be a bit shorter. It'll be 2 minutes and 27 pitches. So you lose a minute and you lose 13 pitches. You still have 1 timeout, and the same bonus rules apply in the finals as well. Though that is the new rules and the new format of how the home run derby will work. The standout thing for me, obviously, besides the way the actual rounds will work, is I like how it's going to be 8 hitters at the beginning and the top 4 move on. A lot of the time, you don't really get that in terms of like the home run derby, and sometimes you get someone who doesn't deserve to be in the semifinal round in there. I think this is a really cool way of doing that, and I'm very happy to just have, okay, here's all 8, we'll go bang, 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 and then the top 4 move on. I think that's really cool. Excited to watch the home run derby this year. And we'll have to see who will be joining Gunnar over the course of the next week or 2 here, and see which other 7 names will be joining him. So, Okay, and in other news here, we've got some interesting stuff here. First and foremost, to yesterday, Wyatt Langford hit for the cycle. The first one in 2024. The first one, I feel like, in a long time. Really cool stuff there for Langford. He started his day with the triple, then did the double, then the single, finished it off with a home run. Really cool way for Wyatt Langford. I mean, in his rookie year to have hit for the cycle. That is, really astonishing of him. So congrats, Wyatt Langford. Good for the Rangers. They did beat Baltimore in that game, so all things positive there. To mention now, Tristan McKenzie from the Guardians. He's been optioned to AAA. This was definitely something I didn't see coming, but it isn't something that is super rare, because we've seen it before this year, especially guys like Jose Abreu with the Astros, Spencer Torkelson with the Tigers. Some players have just been struggling, and the team has nothing left to do but to just send him down to try to fix himself. Tristan McKenzie has been amazing, in his career, kind of with the Guardians. But this year has not been it. He's given up 19 home runs already, has walked 49 batters. In 16 games, he's 3-5 with a 5.11 ERA. So definitely not what Cleveland needs right now, especially trying to hold off teams like the Twins and Royals. They sent him down, and hopefully Tristan McKenzie will be able to right himself and rejoin the team really soon, because the Guardians will need the talent that he can get and that he can provide, but they just need him to be at his best, and right now he isn't. So the Guardians will hope to find that side of McKenzie and have him back with the team probably towards the end of the month. We'll have to see how he performs going forward. Brian Reynolds, we got to mention him quickly. He was on an absolute tear right now and hit successfully in 25 straight games. He was looking to make it 26 yesterday, but falls short against the Braves, ending his hitting streak at 25, one of the longest hitting streaks we had seen in the last couple of years. Will anyone ever get close to the 50, 51, and potentially 52 margin? Not anytime soon. So Brian Reynolds, the closest we've had in a long time. Good for him and good for the Pirates. You'll have to see that. Love me some Brian Reynolds there. And then the last bit of news here, James Wood, one of the top prospects in baseball, the top Nationals prospect, has gotten the call. He is heading his way up to the major leagues. This could be very exciting for the Nationals. They're one of the 6 teams that play today, so potentially James Wood's making his MLB debut today, maybe tomorrow, not sure, but very exciting for him. He could maybe help the Nationals out. You know, the Nationals not a team you'd expect to be in the mix right now. They're only 4 games back of the wild card, and there's room for the Nats to get hot potentially. So keep an eye out for Washington, because if James Wood, if he comes in and makes an appearance and goes ham, this guy's got a lot of power in his swing. So watch out, teams in the NL East. Okie dokie, here now let's take a look at the hot and colds from the week. And there is no one hotter than Vladimir Guerrero Jr. from your Toronto Blue Jays. The Blue Jays need to get hot, and Vladdy needs to be a big part of that. He is 13 for 26, batting .500 for the week. 5 doubles, 4 home runs. How about 17 RBIs? I think the Blue Jays have had weeks where they didn't even score 17 runs. And here's Vladdy doing it on his own this week. 6 runs and a 1.673 OPS. They just finished playing the Yankees, and Judge remains hot. 11 for 21, 3 home runs, 12 RBIs, 6 runs, a 1.615 OPS. And surprised to see this next guy on the list. It is George Springer, also from your Blue Jays. He has had an awful start to the season, but this is a hot week for him, and hopefully for the Blue Jays, it's a hot George Springer for the rest of the year, because they need it. 10 for 20, 2 doubles, 3 home runs, 10 RBIs. 1.615 OPS. Joining these two Blue Jays and Yankees is also Byron Buxton, 8 for 19, 2 doubles, 3 home runs, 9 RBIs, 7 runs at 1.445 OPS. And then Jonathan India, 14 for 26. How about 10 doubles, double-digit doubles? He had 14 hits, and 10 of them were extra bases. Potentially even more. 5 RBIs, 8 runs, 4 walks, a 1.536 OPS. Crazy week for India and the rest of these guys. But turning it over to the cold side, we have Willy Adames from your Brewers, who was 0 for 22 with 5 Ks. Tim Anderson from your Marlins, 2 for 24 with 6 Ks. Royce Lewis from your Twins, 1 for 21 with 5 Ks. Marcus Semien, 2 for 31 with 2 Ks. And then Anthony Volpe I threw on here. He was 4 for 29 with 12 Ks. Definitely struck out one of the most times for the week here. That is your hot and cold here. And from there, we'll take a look now at the injury updates that happened and occurred this past weekend here. Starting off with a couple of Phillies, and that's some bad news, because not only is it Bryce Harper with a strained hamstring, but it's also Kyle Schwarber with a strained groin. And this is obviously no longer June, but June Kyle Schwarber leads into a good Kyle Schwarber for the rest of the year. These are two extreme power lefty bats that the Phillies must have right now, so keep an eye on them. Theo Estrada, a sprained wrist for him. He lands on the IL. Matthew Boyd, he's going to get Tommy John. I swear, I think it was last week even, or maybe even last episode, I mentioned this signing. I thought Matthew Boyd wasn't even in baseball anymore, and I was surprised the Guardians signed for him, saying, oh, what kind of impact can he make? Nothing. He's getting Tommy John surgery. He's out for the year. I'm shocked by that. And then also in the game, Corey Seager left after a hit by pitch on the left wrist, and it looked like a lot of pain. I'm expecting at some point today or tomorrow, he will land on the IL for the Rangers. Maybe I'm wrong about that, and maybe it's not as bad as it was, but off of what we saw on Seager's facial expressions in that moment, I'm not sure if it's going to be anything to sweat over and just put him on the day-to-day. I think he will land on the IL for sure. Outstanding performances for the weekend here. We've got a strong list. Starting off with Davis Daniel. 8 innings pitched, 4 hits, no earned runs, no walks, and 8 Ks. Very impressive from a Los Angeles Angel. Christopher Sanchez, no hits. Complete game shutout for him against the Marlins. For the Phillies, 9 innings pitched, 3 hits, no earned runs, no walks, 9 Ks. Zach Eflin from your Rays, 6 innings pitched, 4 hits, no earned runs, a walk, and 6 Ks. Charlie Morton, Uncle Charlie, still doing it. 6 1/3 innings pitched, 3 hits, no earned runs, a walk, and 7 Ks. Bailey Ober, 6 innings pitched, 2 hits, 1 earned run, 3 walks, and 9 Ks. Chris Bassett, 6 innings pitched, 6 hits, no earned runs, 2 walks, and 8 Ks. Zach Gallen, he was back from the IL for the Diamondbacks, and he pitched phenomenally. 6 innings pitched, only 1 hit, no earned runs, 1 walk, and 8 Ks for him. Paul Skeens, 6 innings pitched, 6 hits, an earned run, 2 walks, and 9 Ks. Taj Bradley from your Rays, 5 2/3, 3 hits, no earned runs, 2 walks, and 11 strikeouts for him. Seth Lugo against the division-leading Guardians, 6 innings pitched, 4 hits, no earned runs, a walk, and 10 strikeouts. And we rounded off with Freddie Peralta, 7 innings pitched, 2 hits, an earned run, 2 walks, and 8 Ks. So some good starts there for some teams and players. As we now take a look at the standings check here for the divisions, as we have mentioned, we're just over the hump of the season, the halfway point. Teams have played about 84, 85 games, give or take. Baltimore now leads the way in the AL East. They are essentially tied with the Yankees, though. 53-31 is Baltimore. 54-32 are the Yankees. The Yankees have 1 extra win and 1 extra loss. Essentially the same record, but Baltimore right now is essentially in first place. They got to make up those games, though. Yankees 3-7 in their last 10. Yikes there. Boston, they're in third. Tampa's in fourth, and the Blue Jays are in fifth, and are a bit of a ways out here as we head into July. The AL Central, the Guardians, they did lose 3 or 4 to the Royals, but still sit comfortably 52-30 in first. 6 games on the Twins at 47-37, and 7 games up on the Royals, who sit 47-39. So the Royals a game back of the Twins. They've played and won the same amount of games, but the Royals have played 2 more games and lost 2 more of those games. So both with 47 wins, Royals 39 losses, Twins 37. Tigers in fourth, and the White Sox are in fifth. AL West, the Mariners are 3-7 in their last 10. They're 47-39, still holding on to the division, but teams may be closer than you think. Specifically, the Houston Astros, who are 9-1 in their last 10. They have bounced back all the way to getting back to 500. They sit at 42-41, now only 3.5 back of the division. So Seattle, watch out. Texas in third, 8 games back. Angels in fourth, and Oakland in fifth. Oakland 2-8 in their last 10. They are 30-56 on this season. NL East, Phillies hold it 55-29. They're 8 games up on the Braves. Surprise, surprise. Braves in second, Mets in third, 1 game under 500 at 40-41. Then you have the Nationals, and then you have the Marlins rounding off the East. The Central still as close as ever. The Brewers at 50-34. Cardinals second place at 43-40, 6.5 back. Pirates 9.5 back, and then the Reds and Cubs 11-11.5 back. Cubs still fifth, Reds fourth, Pirates third, if that wasn't obvious. And then the NL West, you have the Dodgers 52-33, 7.5 back of your Padres, who have been great as of late. They're 8-2 in their last 10, and now 46-42 on the year. Hold second comfortably. Diamondbacks in third, 2 games under 500. Giants in fourth, 3 games under 500. And the Rockies are very, 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 very low at 28-55. And not looking good for them. Alrighty, now going off of the standings check, let's take a look. I want to take a look at some of the teams that I think need to get a hot start in July here, specifically in the first 2 weeks before the All-Star game, because then you have the trade deadline looming, and some teams need to go right now. Starting off with the Toronto Blue Jays, they are 38-45, 7.5 back of the wild card. They just split the series with New York, which, hey, you know what? The way New York's been playing, good job, Blue Jays, but you got to keep it going. Vladdy had an amazingly hot week. Springer just got hot. You need that to carry over. And I mean, things can go right for the Blue Jays. They have the talent. There's enough time. But if they don't go quickly now in the first 2 weeks of July here, they're going to be selling off some of the pieces, I feel like, at the deadline. So the Blue Jays need to go right now. Also need to go right now, the Seattle Mariners. I mentioned Houston, 9-1 in their last 10. They have turned their season around, kind of. Seattle's been at the top of the AL West, kind of just luckily, because the Astros and Rangers and A's and Angels have been so bad. But now, with the Astros being good and winning 9 of 1, they have closed that gap very quickly, 3.5 back of Seattle. If the Mariners want to stay controlling the AL West, they need to start winning, stay winning quick. They're going to be buying at the deadline, I feel. And they need to keep Houston, the big brothers of baseball, really, the AL specifically. They want to keep them away. Seattle needs to go right now. So keep an eye out for that, Mariners. Rangers, you guys are in similar position as the Blue Jays, I feel like. 8 games back. You just lost 7 straight. You're the defending champs. Yes, things haven't gone your way. The injuries have been, a little tricky to navigate through, but there's still time. If you don't want to sell off some pieces, you definitely want to be in the mix. You need a hot start to July. You just lost 7 straight. Let's bounce back. Let's win 5 straight. Let's get on a little bit of a run here. You guys got the Padres, which is going to be a tough one, but, come on, Texas, get some fight in you. Where's that team that won the chip, last year? Where's that team, the defending champs? They've gone away. Like, what's going on here? And one other team for the AL that I think needs to go right now is the Royals. Credit where credit's due. A hell of a series against the Guardians to take 3 or 4. But hey, you're still 7 games back of them. The Twins are a game above you guys. You guys have been middling out as of late, especially for the end of June here. And I mean, you guys hold that third wild card spot. Teams like the Astros, teams like the Red Sox are close and heading up on you guys. If you guys want to stay in a position of a postseason, potentially trace down the division, you guys need to keep winning. Look competitive here in these first 2 weeks here, so your team adds at the deadline instead of, doing a little bit of a buy and sell deadline, because I feel like that's where the Royals' direction is right now. You guys are still a good team. You guys you have good pitching. Put it all together. Get on a bit of a hot streak here, and get past the Twins at least, because you guys are going to need that. Royals, step on it. So that's the AL here. NL, let's talk about the Braves. They got to go, and they can go right now. It's been a tough season for them with injuries, Acuna being the big one. They're 8 games back of the Phillies, though. They're fighting for the division, and the Phillies just lost Schwarber and Harper for a little bit. So, I mean, this is your best chance to track down some of those games against the Phillies here. And it starts with 1, but it needs to go, and it needs to start now. If you're the Braves, you had good pitching. Get some offense, put it together, and try to start chasing down Phillies, or at least expanding your lead in the NL wildcard, the first spot, and kind of lock up a series against a division team there. And speaking of the wildcard, the race has gone on for a little bit here. The Padres, you guys can go right now, I think, is another team that needs to go. They're 7.5 back of the Dodgers. If there's any chance for them to catch up, Betts is hurt. It's going to be now. The Dodgers, with all the talent they brought in and everything going on, I thought the Dodgers could be a little bit better. But I haven't seen it, and the Padres are still in striking distance. They hold the second wild card right now, so even that, expanding on that, would be huge for them. They need to go right now. And then how about the Cardinals and the Mets? I feel like last week or even 2 weeks ago, I was talking about how there was 9 teams all separated by 2 games for the NL wildcard. That is no longer the case. Some of these teams have fallen off a little bit. Cubs, 5 games out. Reds, 4.5. Nationals, 4. Pirates, 3. Giants, 3. Diamondbacks, 2.5. And then the Mets are 2 games back of the Cardinals, who hold that last spot. One of these 2 teams needs to get going. The Mets, in their Grimace era, they just lost to the first time since that first pitch in the series. 2 games back of the Cardinals. If you guys get hot, you guys can get that third wild card seed, ride it out. If the Cardinals get hot, it's basically you want to push away that slop of all these competitive teams, and I say competitive, but it's just you guys are all close for that last seed here. You don't want to come down to the last 2 weeks of the season and have like 6 teams fighting for one spot. Baseball fans would love that. I would love that. But if you're the Cardinals, if you're the Mets, you want to build a gap, and if you want to do that right now, it's probably for the best. Become buyers at the deadline, add instead of sell. Pete Alonso's been circulating in all these trade deadline rumors. If the Mets go right now, if they win 7 of 9, I mean, there's no way you sell Pete Alonso. You buy in and you try to go for something. So, things to keep an eye out for. Those are 8 teams that I think need to get going and have a hot start to July, or else big changes could be coming for some, if not all, of those teams. Okay, with all of that being said now, though, let's just dive in quickly to this upcoming series so we can head off and enjoy our Mondays here. The series for the week are as following: Reds at Yankees, Astros at Blue Jays, Rays at Royals, Tigers at Twins, White Sox at Guardians, Padres at Rangers, Orioles at Mariners, Angels at A's, Red Sox at Marlins, Mets at Nationals, Giants at Braves, Phillies at Cubs, Cardinals at Pirates, Brewers at Rockies, and we round it off with D-backs and Dodgers. Only 3 games today, so definitely check out one of them, even if your favorite team isn't playing. Enjoy some baseball today. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you everybody so much for listening to today's episode. I appreciate you all. Welcome to July. Welcome to the Dog Days. Welcome soon to be the All-Star Game. Thank you everybody so much, and I will see you on Friday.